they put in there and tackle. Woo! They got to deal. There we go.
What's going on, sports fans? It's Josh Williams back again with another episode of the American Fan 365 podcast. Thank you so much again for tuning in live. Actually, we're not live. That was a lie. I'm already starting with lies. I don't like that. But thank you so much for watching the replay. We're not live today. Thank you for watching the replay on Zeal Radio, on YouTube, on whatever I need to learn the name of my brother's network.
Man, you're really putting the lie in live today.
I freaking hate you so much. Dave Nobles, Dave, how you doing today?
Man, I'm getting by. The sports are getting a little tighter. But we got Euros going on. We have a lot of football. COPA America.
Yeah. Olympics coming
Olympic
up.
Qualifiers. Mm-hmm. There's stuff out. WNBA still going strong as can be.
Well, you know what? Now's the time. Okay, perfect example. Now's the time if you are a man and you want something to watch. This is a good time to get into WNBA. I don't really watch the WNBA until this time. And then my Mystics are absolute, trash
they are the worst team in the league.
No, but they're trying to get stupid wins now. I'm like, yo, relax.
No.
Can we get the number one pick?
You want Paige Beckers.
That's what I'm saying.
Or Kiki Iriafen. Either one of them you will take.
I want Paige, or I'm trying to think who the other girl was that was like, oh, that's not a bad option too. But Paige would come in. We need a point guard. We need a young point guard.
Paige is good too.
Yeah. Oh no, she's cold. That is a cold white girl.
Well, you know why? She's raised by a black family.
Really?
Yeah.
I met her uncle.
Yeah. She's like at least her family's like half black.
Interesting.
It makes Paige Beckers. Once you see the family photos, things make a lot more sense about her.
Oh, another piece fell into place.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. All right. Well. For those out there of you that want to know what to look for and things like that, outside of baseball, got a lot of WNBA, got some Olympics coming up.
Got to diversify.
Yeah, this is that time of year. It does get a little bit dry. We do thank each of you guys. We have a few submissions in for Fan of the Day segments coming up. So please keep those messages rolling. Keep sending them to the IG. You can send them to Facebook, I guess, if you wish. If you want me to find it 5 days later, send it on Facebook.
Oh, yeah, you're better than me. Who knows when I get to that stuff?
No. You want to know why? Because it'll literally come up like message request on Facebook, and you know how far deep you have to I have to happen to see that. So it's
I usually just avoid those most of the time too.
That was May. Not good. My bad, dog. I'm sorry.
And God bless you if you're one of those people who could just watch baseball, because I'm like, as a Giants fan, I got nothing to watch on baseball. And Paul Skeens doesn't pitch every day, so I only have certain things to look forward to. You see him yesterday?
I saw he touched 102 8 times.
His last pitch was 102. He went, I believe it was 15 times over 99. It was 12 or 15.
That's crazy.
Doing that off the top of my head, but he's ridiculous. He gave up a home run to the first batter and then started mowing him down. That guy is something else.
That's crazy. Well, let's take it around the world in sports. Keeping it on baseball. I said last week on the episode, this thing comes in threes. First, we lost Bill Walton. Then we lost the logo, Jerry West. And over the weekend, we lost probably the greatest baseball player of all time. I would say all around.
Definitely in the top five. I mean, it's undisputed. You can't go more than 3 or 4 people, no matter what your list is.
Yeah.
And not have Willie Mays there.
Yep. Mr. Willie Mays, the Say Hey Kid, passed away at the age of 93. And for those of you saying, oh, sad for Willie, Willie was 93. He had a great life.
Willie did have a great life.
Great life, and was by and large.
Well, eventually he had a great life. The beginning is tough. I don't know if you ever saw the documentary and everything. Unshockingly,
I did.
Coming up through baseball in that time. you went through a lot of things.
Listen, coming up in America during that time.
Well, and even for the people that he paved the way for, Reggie Jackson, who was a little bit later, if you saw him at the Rickwood Field games.
I saw that.
Like, it was heartbreaking to listen to because it's just like, you just almost think it's like, well, Reggie Jackson was big in like the 70s. And it's like you didn't think about it as much. Mm-hmm. But then just hearing his stories was just like.
That was still going on.
It's like, and the sad part is these stories are horrific.
Yeah.
And it was slightly better.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
I mean, honestly, I don't know how many of you out there watch The Pivot. Ryan Clark is a friend of the show, and so I kind of more or less watch The Pivot through his clips. I don't watch, those of you that know me out there, I barely watch my show. So if you're asking me, like, yo, you watch this podcast? No, the answer is screw that. The answer 100% of the time is no. I do not watch anybody else's podcast, but he had a really, really, like, I just love the conversations that they have on The Pivot. And, I hope eventually this show, with us is the broader conversation. And when you really think about just racism in this country, people always want to kind of put it in this box and like just put it away. And these things are things that people truly went through. You know what I mean? Like people in my, my racial demographic, these are the things that we had to live through, and they are people's testimony and people's history. And you can't try to marginalize what someone else has gone through because you haven't. You know what I mean?
No, it's just, I think especially when you grow up white, there's a lot of these things we miss out on. You know how much of my life I went through before learning about Tulsa?
Yeah, well, shoot, black people too, because that wasn't something that was taught.
Most people didn't learn about Tulsa until like that Watchmen show came out on HBO. That was like the first time that many people have come out and said that. No one even knew this story existed.
Real,
so you start hearing these stories of how athletes have come up, and listen, there's still stuff going on today. Mm-hmm. So we can't act like we're through it.
Yeah. What was that? Was that, I can't remember if that was in Birmingham or it was somewhere in Alabama where they were those chairs. Black people, they went complete TLC match and started breaking out the chairs. It was cracking white boys with chairs. They, listen,
I got a good 3 weeks of laughs out of that.
Listen, okay. Montgomery. Yeah. Thank you. It was Montgomery. No, and honestly, I can actually clip this later. The funniest part of that whole thing was the one black guy that got into the water to swim. And he swam, and it took him like 8 years to get over and rejoin the fight. For my part of the delegation, that's a real tough
funny list if you want to pick the funniest thing from that video. So many parts that were funny, and I could tell you, everybody in that video that looked like me, they all deserved it. They all had it coming.
Well, let's finish out the Willie Mays. Willie Mays, here are a couple stats, Dave. I know you probably have a few too. Had Willie Mays not served in the Korean War in the middle of his prime, he more than likely would have been the first person to break Babe Ruth's record of 700. I think it was 714.
Yeah, 12, it was 714. But he missed 2 years.
Yeah, beginning of career. So he would have definitely caught 60 more home runs. You would think.
You would figure because he was in what? So he was around 660.
Yeah, he was 660.
660. Mm-hmm. So you're talking about if like 60 more home runs, then yeah, it would have been Hank Aaron chasing him.
Yeah, probably.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so there's that part. 1957, he was the first person to have a 20-20-20-20 season, and that's doubles, triples, stolen bases, and home runs. No one else would do that for 50 years until 2007 when Jimmy Rollins and Curtis Granderson both did it that year. He had over
20 triples is wild.
Yeah, in one season is stupid. Like, people get 3.
20 triples in your career is wild. Triples are no joke.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all.
Now, that is one of the things where, and another thing I think that gets missed on the home runs is whereas, like, he started out playing in the Polo Grounds.
Yes.
And, like, those parks had deep fields. So the triples were actually, 480 dead center. But it was like 400 down the line.
Yeah, it wasn't small.
So you had to. So yes, there were possibilities for more triples because that ball had a lot more place to go in the yard.
That's fair.
But how far these guys are hitting home runs to get these things out of these parks?
Yeah, that was a hit.
Whew, buddy,
that was a bomb. For sure.
I don't think that ever gets talked about enough.
Yeah.
And especially considering like all his gold gloves and things like that in center field, which you usually consider probably about the best defensive center fielder of all time.
Well, and so that's
a lot of to cover going back to 480
is absurd. So he had over 196 assists in the outfield, which is absolute absurdity. Byron Buxton, who's
from center.
Yes, Byron Buxton, who's probably the one of the best outfielders, one of the best center fielders in the game right now, has had 22 assists for his career. Willie Mays had 3 seasons of 22 assists or more in his career. That's
from
stupid.
center.
From center.
Because usually, if you're getting outfield assists, it's like
One of the
occasional one to
corners.
home,
Yeah.
or it's at a corner,
Yeah.
especially to first base.
Mm-hmm.
Like catching somebody going back, goes to right field,
Sure.
and they get to a good play.
Center.
That's wild.
Yeah, Mike Trout, this generation's probably best 5-tool player, has 44 for his career. So he has over 156 more than Mike Trout for his career.
That's a crazy stat.
That's crazy, right? And then, finally, Rookie of the Year, World Series champion, 2-time MVP, 24-time All-Star. 24-time All-Star.
24-time All-Star is wild, too.
Stupid.
I mean, now granted, at the end, he was getting some of those All-Stars with the Mets where it's like, but you know what? He earned it. He earned it for all those other years.
You're definitely
he got a couple years that he would have been an All-Star if he was allowed to play and not been in the war.
Fair enough. 12-time Gold Glove, 3,293 hits, 660 home runs, 301 batting average, 339 stolen bases, and 1909 with runs batted in. R.I.P. to the legend, Willie Mays. Up next, COPA America Cup. I know Dave is sitting out a little bit on this one. It's all right, Dave. I'll carry it.
You're gonna have to carry me.
It's
on
okay.
This one.
It's all right.
I've been watching the Euros.
And I haven't watched much of the Euros. I do have to post this one video from England. These guys. This guy fell asleep like outside of a bar, and I guess they put like just a pint of beer on his head, and everyone like kept pouring a little bit of beer in the man's cup. And they were just singing and like, oh, he has a pint on his head, oh, and like, and then the pint finally falls all over the guy, still asleep.
Can I ask you a question? I don't know which network is carrying Copa America. Because please tell me it's not Fox. Because Fox,
you know it is.
Murder. Oh God, it is.
You know it is.
Oh,
what do you mean?
Why is their coverage so terrible? Their commentators talk all the time, talk a bunch of nonsense. It's like
they got to fill the air. They got to fill the dead air.
They don't though. The way they fill it is not the appropriate way to fill it.
Listen,
there are people who do this well.
Yeah. Well, here, I'll say this. Honestly, the second I hear it doesn't have an English commentator.
Correct.
I'm dead.
Listen, I need a British accent or I need you to speak Spanish. World at large, I'm sorry. We as a country allowed Gus Johnson to be the lead commentator for the game. He didn't even know anything about the game. I love Gus Johnson.
Yeah.
All due respect, man. He's carried some tournament games to levels they should not have made it to. They put that man. Oh man,
he doesn't know when to get elevated. He's like off. His radar's a little off.
Because he shouldn't be doing the sport.
He's Stephen A. Smith. They put
It's Stephen A. Smith with like any sport.
They're overexposing him. He's being overexposed. We gotta keep him in his pocket,
buddy.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
just why did they ruin it?
Because it's just the American way. The reigning champs Argentina beat Canada 2-0. Peru tied with Chile. Venezuela got a 2-1 victory over Ecuador. Mexico takes down the Reggae Boys 1-0 while also losing their captain in the process. That was actually a really big thing. I did not take down said captain's name. I was doing the show flow. Uruguay. So Uruguay and Panama, they played yesterday while I was doing the show flow. Let me see who won that game. Hold on. Give me a second. My fault, Dave.
It's okay.
Here we go. Uruguay. So Uruguay actually ended up taking down Panama 3-1. They were up 1-0 when I was doing everything, but it still had time. So I was like, I'll come back to this. In the USA, we got a expected win. It was a big win over Bolivia, 2-0, but it could have been far greater. I've come to the point now. anytime watching, the U.S. men's national team, obviously our ladies, we can like poke holes in everything because we are supposed to. We are the standard, and we should be beating people.
They're supposed to.
Yeah,
win.
we're supposed to beat people 5-0, and like you can get upset at the girls for not scoring another goal.
Well, in the last World Cup, I got more upset at the manager because there were some team members that didn't still need to be out there.
Who?
Well, you shouldn't have been starting Alex Morgan anymore.
What you mean? I will not stand here for your Alex Morgan bashing, sir.
I'm not bashing Alex Morgan. I'm just saying it's not her time anymore. They had plenty of people that were sitting on the bench that were better than the people that are out there on the field.
Yes. Well, no. Katie O'Hara had no business sitting on the bench with the girls that were out there.
You can name a number. A number of the young players just
but then
they got
also
overshadowed by the bigger names.
Losing Rose was big, and then also
Rose came back, but they were still bringing Rose off the bench.
Yeah, and then also what was her name? That's married to Dansby Swanson, Mallory Pugh. Mallory Swanson now.
By the way, good job, Dansby. Good job, Dansby.
Yeah. Well, Dan's apparently is like really cool dude.
Handsome guy, great head of hair.
Yeah, he does.
Great head of hair.
He does have a good head of hair. That's fair. But he's also got some hood in him. He's like from Atlanta, and like he like is all about like Lil Jon, the East Side Boys, and like that generation. I was like, okay, Dan's all right. So that's how he got her. That's how it happened, dude.
God bless him. Whatever you did, it worked. You were doing the right thing.
Keep going. We're all cheering for you. And then today's matchups, we have Colombia versus Paraguay, and then also Brazil versus Costa Rica. Brazil is also playing here this coming weekend, I believe, and I will be trying to attend that game. But yeah, I mean,
Neymar's out, right?
Yeah, I don't think. No, he's not playing on the team.
Oh, thank God.
He's not playing on the team. Yeah,
I might want to watch him then. I hate Neymar. I hate Neymar.
Oh, come on.
Neymar is my least favorite player to watch.
Really? Why?
Well, certainly up there. Well, I don't know, just the rolling around on the ground at all times like you got shot.
Okay, the un-Americanness. Yes, I understand.
Well, it's not even un-Americanness. That man could never play in the Premier League. They would just let him roll for a while.
He's still rolling.
I can't say on the show what he would be being told, but he would be being told some things that he should do.
Fair enough.
About how he operates.
They would probably start.
You like watching Neymar?
I listen, Brazil. So okay, Brazil is who got me into soccer when we were younger. Because
I can understand that
Ronaldo, and so the 94 World Cup was in America. I didn't realize it's been 30 years. It's been 30 years. So the 94 World Cup was in America. Brazil actually played at RFK in DC, and that was the first time I actually like understood what the World Cup was. I was excited.
Well, you started seeing the top. It's the first time we really got to see the top level of the sport.
Yeah,
we didn't understand what these. I mean, you didn't get these games broadcast. Pele came over here later.
Well, and then also, listen, like, I have a black family. Like, I had to pick up most of these sports on my own. We were basketball, football, baseball. The reason I'm a Cub fan is because Grandpa was a Cub fan, and that's how I learned baseball. But mom and dad weren't. Oh, this is Cal Ripken. No, I didn't know who Cal Ripken was till I got to school and was like, who the heck are the Orioles? Like, they're in a different league. Oh, okay. But like how I picked up soccer was through FIFA on Genesis and through the World Cup in '94. But yeah, I'm excited to see Brazil. Sorry that you don't like Neymar.
I don't.
It is.
I don't. No need to apologize.
Switching gears over to the Stanley Cup Final. Who we called. Man, we said all you had to do was find a way to get to Bob, get to Sergei Bobrovsky.
Man, you were dead on that one.
Man, well, still got one more. You know what?
You've been right so far. So once they got to him, they got to him.
I wasn't so dead on that I forgot to freaking put in a bet. Jesus Christ. What were the numbers? If someone could tell me what the numbers were when they were down 3-0, because I know it probably was like plus 10,000 or something stupid.
Wasn't that high because people know hockey goes a little wild.
Well, this will be, if they win, if they're able to complete this tonight, it will be the first time since 1942
in the Stanley Cup Final.
Yes, in a Stanley Cup final that a team came all the way back. Now teams have come back to force a Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Final, but they've lost. So if they're able to actually get this done, which is going to still be a test because they are having to do it on the road. I think, but the biggest thing I will say with hockey, more than almost any other sport, if you're able to take that crowd out of it early, like if they can go up 1-0, 2-0, they're going to win.
Well, and I think that people are kind of expecting that now with the shift in momentum, because I saw initially like the first line for Conn Smythe for Connor McDavid, the best player in the world, was minus 5,000.
Wow.
So I don't know how much it's fluctuated since then.
Holy smoke.
But they're expecting him to be getting it win or lose, clearly.
Yeah, well, and it was actually tight, I would say, last round, because Draisaitl, by and large, had the better playoff. Like Connor has had.
Oh yeah, coming up to this, Draisaitl had a well, but a lot of that, the reason that and I'm not saying this is the only reason for Draisaitl's success, because he's one of the best players in the league.
I know what you're going to say.
But he certainly has a certain amount of attention that he doesn't have to deal with because the best player in the league is out there,
and because the best player in the league can put the puck on a tee whenever he wants for him as well. All
just
the time.
How he skates at that size
is stupid.
It doesn't make sense. I watch him play. It's one of those where you can go in and know literally. So basically, you be your average Knights fan, literally know nothing about hockey, and you look on the ice for 2 seconds. You're like, oh, that's the best player.
Yeah.
I don't have to know anything else. I know that guy's better than all the rest of these guys.
Yeah.
It's obvious.
And that's actually one of the questions that came up. I'm not going to spoil the question because we have plenty of coverage to have to talk about in July when there's nothing else to talk about. So, but they were asking a question based off of Connor McDavid and just surrounding other sports now. But where would you rank this comeback if it actually happens? Until, you know, if it comes to completion and they're able to come all the way back, win 4-3. So I'll go down the list. Is it above?
Okay, let's go.
So, all right. So first off, we got the curse of the Bambino, 86 years, the Boston Red Sox, when they had to come back.
It can't be that one because they did it to the Yankees, the all-time big brother, all-time most hated. Nothing's going to come close to that one.
Okay.
That one was
all right.
That's so far ahead of everything else. Anything else you name, it's further.
That has a lot of juice behind it just because of who they had. Now, when they got to the World Series, I want to say they swept the Cards, right?
Well, a lot of that was once you pass that, it was like when the U.S. beat Russia in the 1980 Olympics.
That wasn't the gold medal game.
In hockey. It wasn't the gold medal game.
Yeah.
But that's how it felt like. I think it was Finland that the U.S. had to beat after that.
It's like, oh,
and
okay.
it was just like, well, we still have that, but we were locked in. They wiped wiped them out quick.
It's the truth. I mean, when my Caps beat the Penguins finally, when we finally won the Cup, it was like once we got through the Penguins, it was like, oh, we're gonna find a way. Because that was always the one that always was the block.
Well, yeah, when you have that one that torments you, it was just like when the Bulls finally got through the Pistons, and when they ran through the Pistons,
4-0.
It was like,
who's got us now?
There's nobody there. I mean, yes, they still had the Lakers series, and Lakers did happen to steal that first game, but
that was all they stole.
You already know.
That was all they stole.
You already know.
All right, so Curse of the Bambino's up there for Dave. Curse of the Billygoat. My Cubs, 108 years coming back from 3-1 down in the World Series versus the Cleveland Indians, who also hadn't won in like 60-some years. That's up there for me. I don't know if
that's a personal reasons one though. And
108 years, Dave.
108 years. I don't disagree.
We almost got the Back to the Future reference on the money. Like we literally in 2015 is when Back to the Future when Marty McFly went forward in the future to 2015, and the Cubs had won the World Series.
Here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to put this final in the NHL neck and neck with that, like dead even, but super high up.
Okay.
Mainly because we have a nation full of Cubs fans, and that is a nation full of hockey fans, and they haven't had a cup in a long time.
We continue to go down the list. The We Ain't Never Won. 46 years for the Cleveland Cavaliers when they came back from 3-1 down the first time ever in NBA Finals
Because
history.
Draymond hit that man in the balls.
The nuts. Yeah,
it's the only reason.
That's fair. So that's
lower. That's definitely lower.
We're marginalizing that.
We are 100%. As much as an accomplishment to beat that Warriors team, the Warriors team beat itself.
Okay. All right. Yeah, they stopped going to the Cup. Like, you got to find a way to go to the Cup. Anyway, I'll go on a tangent on that. And then finally, 31 years since the Montreal Canadiens won. So almost every Canadian team, Dave, has gone to the Stanley Cup Final since then, except for the Winnipeg Jets, who Winnipeg Jets
didn't exist for a while,
for a minute there, and then obviously the Toronto Maple Leafs. Sorry, Toronto fans. The Canucks.
They do really have it bad too, because no one cares more than them.
Yeah, but every other team, the Canucks have gone twice, the Flames went once, the Oilers now have gone twice, the Senators made it to one.
Hey, the Senators were like the Capitals. They were President Cup.
Yeah. San Jose.
They had President Cup experience.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And then also, because I'm trying to think of the Russian that they had. They had a really good Russian player for a moment there.
Oh, for the Senator, I know who you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about too, and it escapes me as well. And then the Canadians went one time as well after winning the final in '93. So it's been 31 years since a Canadian team has won. I think breaking that for Canada. Yeah, you're probably right. I would still put it. I'd probably, like you said, put it right there neck and neck with the Billygoat. I think for them coming back, what you do see in all of these big historic comebacks is they had to do that with all the pressure of the moment as well, because the curse of the Bambino was here we go, we're down 3-0 to the Yankees. The Yankees were the better team.
They'd had their chances of coming, because see, some of those cases, like with the Cubs, you didn't think about it as much because they didn't come close.
Yeah, no.
They weren't there. Like, the Red Sox had been there a few times, and they always had a competitive team, but the Yankees were so dominant, and before the playoffs had expanded, there was no way for them to get there.
No other path forward.
So it's like they could have been the second best team in the league for several years and never made the playoffs.
Don't matter. Yeah,
so
that's right.
That was your number one problem. But I think with this one, it's a weight of a whole country on them now.
Yeah,
and the majority of the players in your league, oh man, it's going to be rowdy. I mean, that crowd in Game 6. Like, people talk all the time about how there's not much home court, home field, home ice left, and usually I agree.
Yeah,
this was not one of those cases.
I think hockey, because the game is so emotion driven, and you literally can feel the emotion. Like basketball, like it's almost like death by 1,000 cuts. Like, we could be down 10 and the crowd could be out of it, but someone got dunked on and everybody's energized again.
Right.
Like hockey, you go down 2 goals and it just don't look good. The emotional state in the crowd is I didn't did you ever see the documentary, the 30 for 30 on ESPN about the riots in Vancouver in 2011?
Yes.
I finally watched that the other day, and they went down 2-0, 3-0, and then the fight started.
Yeah.
like you said, the weight of an entire country, that also went to Game 7 as well versus the Boston Bruins, and it's tough. It's tough.
I can't imagine being a Canadian player and having that weight on your shoulders every time, because people, for some reason, Canada's a big country, but there's not that many people in all that space.
Yeah.
But almost all their focus goes into one sport and one sport only.
By and large.
Realistically, in every major city and all that, that's what they care about the most.
Yeah.
So you end up carrying the weight of a country when your team goes far enough.
Yeah, especially
because everybody puts it aside. Like if Montreal made the Cup Finals, people in Toronto will put it aside for a 7-game series.
It's our Canadian brethren. But no, for sure, Edmonton's not a major city with other sports and other things.
No, this is it.
What do they have? The Eskimos in the CFL?
Yeah, they do. They
Is that actually the Edmonton Eskimos?
That is the name.
That gets a dap up.
Good job.
CFL doesn't make it on the show that often.
Nor should it.
But switching gears over to a little bit of NBA before we get out of around the world in sports. What is good with everyone trying to tear down my man Jordan's legacy? So
who's attempted to do this? Let's see what's happening.
And some other news came out on that today that I saw this morning. So Michael Jordan's 1988 Defensive Player of the Year is now under question. Basically, some stat guru went back and because Scottie Pippen had talked a little bit about this in his book. I think
Scotty's out there wilding.
Yeah,
Scotty needs to
listen.
It's not Mike's fault you signed that contract. Let it go.
Thank you. It's not Mike's fault that you didn't want to go back in the game when Phil called the play for Tony Kukoc.
It is Mike's fault that you had all the success you had. That man needs to stop.
I love Scotty. Scotty's my guy, but yeah, it's been a
makes it
ride.
harder because like I'll be talking to say our friend Kareem, and he is an all-time Scottie Pippen hater.
Okay,
can't stand Scott. He believes Scottie Pippen is one of the most overrated players of all time, and I'm constantly in defense of Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
But every time this man opens his mouth up about Jordan, it's just like, Scotty, you weren't as good. This man made you.
Yeah.
I know you're a fantastic player. I believe that you're great. Please stop.
Yeah.
Because you're just making yourself look bad.
Well, and look, I give Scottie Pippen his flowers all the time, but whenever people do the whole like, Jordan never won until Scottie got there. Scottie averaged like 6 points a game in that freaking Cleveland series. Michael averaged 45. It was he really needed the help. Good Lord, Scottie Pippen showed up. It wasn't going to happen any other way.
When Jordan was getting drilled by every Piston and Scottie was getting migraines. Nobody was saying it then.
Yeah. Oh well, we don't bring that part of it.
But of course, and listen, you could say that about every championship team, everywhere,
ever. Yes.
Somebody. Yes. No one player has done it all by themselves. LeBron got that ring in Cleveland. Kyrie hit that shot.
Yep. Yeah, and Kyrie was going to work in the fourth quarter just like him.
Kyrie was a fantastic player. It's not like LeBron, as we've seen, he's won rings with other players too.
You got to have the help.
People need to stop with that nonsense. This is LeBron propaganda that is continuously being popped up for us.
Well, actually, no. So that's what came out today. So apparently, LeBron and Rich Paul, the manager of Clutch Sports, have actually been paying off people in the media to tear down Michael Jordan's legacy.
You don't say. I can't believe it.
It's actually starting to creep out.
Notice the shock in my voice that they would do such a thing. I would never believe that a player that has never made an uncalculated comment in his whole career, has never had one natural moment. I can't believe that happened. The worst thing that happened to that man in his life was the last dance got put out while we were all stuck inside the pandemic. Because that's when all the people that used to argue with us on like when you had the LeBron MJ arguments, and then the Last Dance came out, and I heard people like, "All right, man, you were right, Michael's better." And notice, like, there were a number of players from after his time that were featured in the Last Dance. Notice there's one player that wasn't.
Oh.
LeBron James.
Oh yeah, no, that wasn't. He was not asked. He was not asked.
I couldn't be less shocked that that's the case.
But I guess my biggest thing is just the fact that people are trying to tear down Michael 22 years after he retired is just wild to me.
Well, after his more shameful retirement, his real retirement that we all recognize.
Well, listen. He got his retirement tour. He got his jersey retired in Miami, which was the first time.
I'll never be okay with that one. Pat Riley's done a lot of things right, but that was a miss. That was an all-time miss.
We're gonna retire your number, and you're an opposing player.
Never played there.
That was
never had a big moment there.
Yeah, I was about to say it never really had he was never even ripping out the hearts of Heat fans.
Listen, that's why I can never take the Heat seriously at any point ever. There's always a level to me that'll be like, you retired. This wasn't like a Gretzky thing where they retired 99 for the whole league. You chose.
They should. You
can't do that. I didn't. As great as Gretzky is, he's the best player of all time. It's unquestionable. You shouldn't take it off the plate for every team. Sure, every team he played for, I'm fine with that. But you shouldn't be retiring. Okay, I give one exception, Jackie Robinson.
I was about to say, Jackie.
I'm going to give the Jackie exception. Yeah. That's the only exception.
All right, fair enough. But everyone continuing to try to tear down Michael's legacy. It's so weird to me just because it's like we have to tear him down, make him small so other people look big when he's still Mount Everest. Where it's like you might be on Mount Kilimanjaro, but you still like this. That's Everest.
I still feel like the difference is always going to be the stories. You don't have the stories of fear. LeBron is a more physically talented player.
Yeah.
You could have the argument LeBron's a smarter player.
Yeah.
It's an argument you could have. More physically talented, smarter. He's definitely. They're both calculating, but in very different ways. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're both ruthless in their own right. LeBron's just isn't as much on the court as it is off the court. But you can't tell me to unsee what I saw. You can't tell me that at the tippy top. And listen, I think it's closer than some people put it, because some people put it like we have no business even speaking of this. I think we're at the point now where we can speak of it. But LeBron's getting this on counting stats.
Yeah.
On years and longevity, which is an amazing accomplishment in its own right.
Yes.
But we have no way of knowing if Mike didn't win like 8 in a row. We don't know. So my thing on that is always kind of pump the brakes.
Yeah.
Look at it. You can reflect on. And by the way, nobody is right. As much as we think we're right, we are both fully convinced that Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time. There's no way of actually proving this. These things don't exist.
Yeah.
I know what I saw. I know what I read. I know what other players tell me. And the fact when the Kevin Garnett story is always one of my favorite ones of the many great Michael Jordan stories where he brought up that he was out there talking trash to him.
With J.R. Ryder.
And he's just like, they have to come up to Jordan like, sorry, Mike, he didn't know any better. Yeah. And
he talking though.
Yeah. He proceeded to murder that team directly after that.
Wait, what did he say? He's like, I can't even really explain to you about the next 4 minutes.
Yeah. The man had so much spite. He ruined the Bradford Smith's life for no reason.
For not even for a fake story. For a fake story.
He admitted a fake story that he made up.
Good game, Mike.
Yeah. That's the best part is when he finally in The Last Dance admitted it wasn't even a real story. He made it up in his head to get mad. That's somebody you don't mess with.
Yeah. Yeah. He different.
God forbid you actually gave him a reason.
Yeah. Yeah, and some people did. Some people had their moments.
That's why I say Thomas went on the Olympic team.
I'm trying to remember one of my favorites is the Byron Scott one with the guy on the Grizzlies, where he was like, it ain't your game tonight, Mike. You ain't got it tonight, Mike. And then like literally like he went crazy to win the game in the last like 3 minutes of the game. Like they were down like 15.
No, everybody had. I've only seen one player effectively survive talking trash to him. That was Gary Payton in the finals. When they finally put him on mic, and Gary Payton did what Gary Payton does. He talked to him the whole time.
Yeah.
And he played great like that.
Yeah.
That's the one. Everyone else was scared to death.
Yeah.
Like, just don't do it.
I still have to surprise you with a Gary Payton pop-up. I will leave that.
I love that, man.
I will literally send out 2 separate show flows. One that's the real one. And then another one for
I talked to that man about
so
how
Dave thinks we're talking about something else.
I talked to that man once for like an hour about how terrible Howard Schultz was and how he never should have sold the Sonics. It's one of the greatest conversations of my whole life.
You've actually met Gary?
Oh yeah, multiple times.
Oh, I thought you'd never even really met him.
It's okay. I'll meet him some more times. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
He ain't gonna remember me. I remembered him though. Don't worry.
Oh, you'd be surprised. All right, switching gears over to International Fight Week. Your boy definitely got the schedule and dates messed up. I've been working too hard and thought that International Fight Week was next week.
Josh, you thought everything was on the wrong week
Yeah,
this week.
bro.
You thought the draft was next week. You thought the NHL draft was next week. You thought this card was next weekend.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really
Which honestly,
really bad.
it's kind of weird that it wasn't.
What's that?
I don't know why they didn't put the card on what would be more like the holiday weekend.
Yeah, well, so last year it was around the same time. It was around the same time last year. They kind of put it right before 4th of July. I don't know, just the way it falls. I think that's where they put it. I think if 4th of July fell on like a Saturday, they probably would try to push for it. But
that's on a Thursday. It's close enough.
I guess.
Well, you know what I think they were thinking? I think they were thinking Conor was going to be carrying this card in this pay-per-view.
Well,
in the tickets. So
actually, I don't think Conor was ever going to fight. I think
it's
they
funny
actually
you say that because I agree with you.
So I actually think that my reasoning for this is we started getting whispers about Conor falling out of the card at the beginning of May. And it was like, oh, Conor might not fight. And it was like, where is that coming from? And why is that randomly leaking out? And then when Conor misses the press conference, the international press conference. It was in Ireland, it was like, that don't make sense. But I, in my opinion, I feel like they were trying to push it because, one, it's International Fight Week. It was Conor. And then Jamal, our friend of the show, Jamal Hill, he was also going to be the co-main. And I feel like they were really just trying to push the numbers up, get the marketing dollars in, get the ticketed gate revenue in.
Well, because that Conor money is different money.
Yes. And then, oops, sorry, Alex Pereira and Yuri Prochazka come forward. Like that's
Which, to me personally, is a better fight.
Oh, well, I mean, there's something on the line.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a better fight anyway.
You think so?
Yeah. I think it's too long for Conor. It's not disrespect to the man, and cool if he proves me wrong.
Yeah.
But I thought he was going to have a problem with Chandler in this fight.
Yeah. Well, I will say, outside of International Fight Week, we were planning to have a big International Fight Week interview, but I guess it'll have to be a recap interview with a UFC champion.
By we, you mean you?
Yeah. Well, no, you're a part of we, fool.
Not when you get things wrong.
Touche. But we will have a big interview next week with a UFC champion, so please make sure you tune into that because that'll be a fight-centered, show next week. Let me see here. As far as the International Fight Week schedule, I've got a video we can play. I'll cue that up for Miss Nikki in the back. Oh, you can play the whole thing. You can play it on full screen. Yes, ma'am. Yep.
My life be like, yeah. My life be like, yeah. My life be like, yeah. My life
So
be
that
like,
was, let's see. So that was 2 years ago.
my life.
That was 2 years ago. UFC X, which is the UFC Expo that they hold during International Fight Week, was following around with Jamal, and this is when Jamal was still up and coming. I'd gone to the Expo with him probably one other time before that. I went last year as well. Last year was a bit sadder because that's when he tore his Achilles in the basketball game. So we were limping around the Expo last year.
That was your fault too.
Let's we digress. But yeah, like the Expo is a great time. You know what I mean? It's amazing different things that you can do with fighters, meeting fighters.
Oh, and they take over around the area too.
Oh yeah, but really, really interactive stuff. A lot of different just fun things to do for fans. So if you haven't had a chance to do that, please make sure you guys go out and see what that's all about.
It's also your best chance to see like 40 to 50-something-year-old white guys in Affliction T-shirts still out there in the 2020s.
With the Oakley glasses backwards?
Yeah, they definitely have the wraparounds.
the way that I hate you. Thursday, June 27th, let's see, they have the UFC 303 press conference. They also have the induction ceremony Thursday night. On Friday, Friday they have, let me see what else they have. Friday is day one of the expo, and that's from 9 to 5 at the Las Vegas Convention Center. Also have the ceremonial weigh-ins, and then obviously Saturday, day 2 of the expo, and you've got Pereira Prochazka 2 at T-Mobile. Do you want to talk briefly about this card, Dave?
I think that main event's it's got a chance to be a good fight.
I think I'll say this, and I was talking to a mutual friend of me and Jamal's yesterday. I'll just say his name, Monty. He watches the show as well. But I think if Yuri is able to get this done and actually beat Pereira, I think that's the fight to make for Jamal after this.
Oh, that'd be a heck of a fight.
Because Yuri and him still have unfinished business. Because remember, Yuri Prochazka was hurt, and that's how Jamal got the title. Then they were supposed to fight because Jamal was waiting on Yuri to recover from his shoulder injury.
Right.
And then Jamal gets hurt. And so then that's how Alex Pereira ends up with the belt anyway. I think that would still be the fight to make for me because right now I was telling Monty, I don't want Jamal to be the gatekeeper of the division. He's still a top 2, top 3 guy in the division, and he's fought everybody except for Rakic. That's the only one that he hasn't fought really, outside of inside that top 10. And so it's why is he going down to fight a Khalil Roundtree that's 8, 9 in the world when he's up at 2, 3?
Well, and your other question becomes, if Yuri doesn't win, if Pereira wins, then where do we start putting him on levels of light heavyweights? Because then you have to start figuring who is next for him if he wins.
Honestly, he'd have to clear out the division, and I don't think he really has done that.
But that's definitely worse for Jamal.
Yeah, that's not
because
good.
They're going to make other fights first.
Yes, no, that's
with
correct.
Yuri. That's a fight. That's a ready-made fight right there. With Pereira, it's going to be fill in the blanks with whoever else is on the list.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to beat people up in a few other fights to force the issue.
Mm-hmm.
But UFC, you never know if you force the issue or not.
Yeah, no, that's true.
But I think we get the next big star maker though. That's my what I'm by far most excited about is the Gary Page fight.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking for because that's next pay-per-view headliner stuff. That's title shot stuff. Those guys are exactly who they're looking to put the company on. I believe a lot in Gary.
Yeah.
But Page is certainly coming in with a mountain of hype.
Yes, and after that first fight with Kevin Holland, I still feel like it's a lot more hype than it is substance.
Disappointing.
Yeah.
Kevin Holland's a weird fighter.
He is, and that. So this fight will show me a little bit more in terms of what we're getting out of Michael Page.
Right.
I love Ian Gary. Ian Gary is another friend of the show as well. Really good guy. So I'm pulling for him. Anthony Smith also is fighting Roman Dolids. Do you know that name, Nikki?
I recognize the name, but I think you're pronouncing it.
All right.
I'll double check though for you.
That was I guess one of those we fell into a happy miracle. Let's see here. The prelim. Well, obviously Diego Lopez fighting Brian Ortega in the co-main now is another really good fight.
That is a good fight.
But the prelims, it's kind of, I don't know, for it to be a really big card in Vegas, there were a lot of just.
But I feel like a lot of this, where normally on fight week they stack the card. I think because of Conor, they didn't stack the card.
Yeah.
I think they figured, they wanted to put Gary on in high profile. But I think for the most part, otherwise, they were just figuring Conor's going to carry this card no matter what.
Yeah.
So they didn't line it up like the fight week cards usually go.
That's fair. No, that's fair. That's fair too. That is fair. All right, switching gears over to the NBA. Give me 1 sec. Let me get my life together over here. Fill the dead air, Dave.
I have to take the blame for this. I threw you off schedule today, so that's the problem.
You're all right. Our NBA segment today is brought to you by our friends at Coco Love, the beverage of choice of the American Fan 365. Head over to www.cocolovewater.com for your own case of coconut refreshment and use the code TAF365 for your discount on Hawaiian Beach vibes. So switching gears over to the NBA, congratulations to the Boston Celtics on their wire-to-wire victory from the beginning of the NBA season all the way to the NBA Finals. They were the best team in the NBA this year. Best record. They were 16-3 in the postseason, which is one of the all-time greatest runs in the postseason. I don't care who they were playing. But I guess my first question, Dave, is what were some reasons that you wouldn't like their run in the playoffs? Was it injuries or was it play style for you?
I can't say that. I can't say play style. They're outsmarting it a little too much, but I can't say I'm mad at it because it's working effectively for them. And I'm not an asterisk person. Because if you want to start going back and start putting asterisks on titles, they're all going to have some.
Yeah, a lot will.
Yeah,
for sure.
Most years,
something happened.
Last year, Giannis's back isn't busted. Maybe they're in the finals and Denver never wins a title.
Yeah,
you can go back every single year.
Yeah,
and there is something that happened that if it didn't happen, we could be looking at it totally differently.
Yeah,
may have changed everything, may have changed nothing. We have no way of knowing. All you can play is the opponents that are there in front of you.
Yep.
Even healthy, no team in the East was beating them. So you might have taken a few more games off of them, but none of those teams were at their class.
I think, I will say, though, I think some further series, maybe they're 16-6 or 16-7.
That's what I'm saying. They would have played more games, I believe.
Yeah, if they would have, but I think a few more, a few more games in. Now maybe Porzingis gets hurt, and he's really out, or maybe Tatum sprains an ankle, and now they're trying to figure out things. Things do happen. I guess I will say, as far as injuries go, just looking at who they went through, Jimmy Butler goes down in that first game. That changes that series completely on its head. Who knows? Because the Miami Heat are different this time of year. They just are. Then you get on to Cleveland, and I'll say this: spider or no spider injury, they weren't going to have no problem with Cleveland. But you get to Indiana, who had no business really being there, and now they're here because of the Knicks injuries. And
the Knicks play style, the Thibodeau play style, will rear its head every time. It's going to keep happening. They were a better team than Indiana was.
Yeah.
They got tired. He needs to put more minutes on more people. He's not going to do that because that's not his style.
Yeah. I mean, it's just injuries, though. I think the biggest injury for the Knicks, truthfully, is OG. OG doesn't go down. They keep their wing defense where it is because they absorbed mostly everything else. But that one was the one that was like, that hurts.
So, say I agree with you, sure. You think they're beating Boston?
No, that's not what I said.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, so we may have changed the result of one series that way.
Yeah.
I don't think they're beating Boston with that team, not that tired.
No, not that tired. But I think, look, does it go 6 games? Does it maybe go 7?
No.
Never know. You don't think so?
I think you have too many people. I think you would say Jalen Brunson, meet Drew Holiday. And when he's done with you, meet Derek White. These are 2 All-NBA defenders. Enjoy your time because you're never going to see a moment on the court where it's not one of them. And the big thing with Boston, it's tough for them, is they switch. They're built to switch like that.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you get a switch, cool. You get a switch on Jaylen Brown, cool. He's a lot bigger than you. Yeah. Or maybe you get a switch on Jason Tatum, who's even bigger and can stay in front of you.
Yeah.
So I think that would have been a bad matchup for the Knicks.
Yeah. I will say one thing as far as play style and Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum took 137 free throws throughout the run in 19 games, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
That's absurd. The
Not
playoffs,
shocking.
well, but the playoffs, and this is one of my things, and this is one of the times I feel like the old man on his porch. Like, the playoffs used to mean something. You know what I mean? We didn't have any problem with 88, 85 final score games, but we earned
Speak for
all
yourself.
80. But you had to earn it, man. Like,
Some of those games,
You feel like they were
sometimes I
unwatchable?
agree with you. Some of those were bad. I take you back once again to the Pistons Spurs finals.
well, nobody's saying anything about the Pistons Spurs. Those weren't offensively driven teams.
Well, not offensively driven. They were offensive to my eyeballs. I can tell you that. They almost offensively drove me away from watching basketball, which is hard to do. That stuff was trash. So, yes, we romanticize the previous defense, and there are some categories where that's correct.
Yeah.
You know, now some things defense is different now. You have a lot more ground to cover because you're running out to three-point line. So that there is a different component to defense now.
I guess.
But to just embrace the physicality being stronger and things like that, I don't think it tells a full story.
Yeah. I guess, and we've talked about switching and things on here. One of my biggest issues is all the switching. You know what I mean? Like Boston is built to switch. We have 5 players, all 5 are good defenders. We can switch, and we can switch well.
Mm-hmm.
Most teams now, man, it's like literally you get tapped, and it's like, yeah, switch that. No, go under and play defense. What do you mean? I told you there's a screen coming. That's all. That's half my job.
Oh, I tell you, there's another team that's built to switch coming up.
Uh-oh,
coming
who's
up
that?
right quick. The Oklahoma City Thunder. Let's go, Alex Caruso.
Oh,
Let's go.
You know what? Yeah. So you're giddy to
I
get
am
rid of Giddy.
And listen, the thing is, I think Giddey could actually do well there. If they keep the ball in his hands, he'll be just fine. It wasn't the fit for him anymore.
Yeah.
This is a classic. I think both teams made a good deal. I think people saw Giddey in the playoffs and don't realize, check this man's stats, and he's 21 years old. And plus he had a thing hanging over his head this whole year where he didn't actually do anything wrong.
What you mean he didn't actually do anything wrong?
You don't know about this story?
Yeah, of course I did. I posted about it.
Okay. So you know how he met the girl?
Does
At
it
an 18
matter?
and over place that he was 19.
Does it matter?
The moment he found out she was under 18, dropped her.
That part I don't believe.
Everyone says this, including her.
We got videos,
including her and her family.
We got videos and baby girl throwing up, gang signs talking about I just smashed Josh Giddey. Things ain't looking good.
Okay,
So wait,
that's the
so
girl.
wait,
That's
so wait,
not him.
So wait. Okay, so hold on. Nice. And it's great that we have a lady engineer here tonight. So wait a minute, Dave. So after you smashed said 16-year-old, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm 16." You still in trouble.
Oh, yeah, and he went through everything. He got investigated for everything. But the thing is, he met her in a place where she should not have been. That is not his fault. He ain't out there. He ain't the one out there checking IDs. It was in an 18+ establishment where he met her.
I will bring my complexion back into this. I promise you.
Oh, by the way, you're 100% right.
Jail right away. Straight to jail. Straight to jail.
If that was Jalen Williams and not Josh Giddey, I feel like we'd be having a very different conversation. I'm not an idiot.
The orange jumpsuit would be in full effect. I will let you know. I will have you here. But yeah, okay, fair enough. We definitely got
I'm
on
just
a
saying
Josh
he
Giddey
didn't
tangent.
actually do anything wrong.
Okay.
But of course, you're right. If it was a black player, 1,000% that man is going to jail. Jail, especially if the girl was white. He'd still be in jail.
She was white, and this was in Oklahoma. Oh,
He'd still be in jail.
where's that tree? Okay.
Oh, no.
Oh, this racism is killing me. So back to the Celtics. Can they do it again? Tatum is Supermax eligible. How the heck that came out as Superman? I'll never. Supermax eligible. I'm glad I'm not Ron Burgundy and read my prompter. After the season, the Celtics are looking to give him a 5-year, $315 million.
Well, not looking to. It's what's going to happen.
Offer. That would give them $604 million between him and Jaylen Brown over the next 6 years. Jaylen Brown got a 5-year, I think it was $289 million deal. As they're presently constructed, what teams do you feel give them the most trouble next year?
Well, the real answer is if you look as they're presently constructed, so not adding somebody very good to a contender over there, there is no team in the East. There's no team in the East for them. Unless, like I said, Philly has to add somebody. And let's be honest, I love Joel Embiid. We've never seen the man out of the second round.
Yeah, you can say what you want.
So, yeah, we can talk all kinds of talk about what's happened to him and Ben Simmons. And there's a lot of real things there.
Yeah.
You know?
Not keeping Jimmy Butler, keeping Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris over me?
Well, the Tobias Harris over anything, but I will always have the feeling, of course I can't substantiate this, it's not like I know the man, but I have a feeling it would certainly seem like Butler and Embiid are real cool. Butler and Ben Simmons, I don't feel like are on the same wavelength.
Oh, that's right, too, because remember, it was also Ben Simmons was there, too. That's true. No, Ben Simmons, Jimmy Butler was
made the Ben Simmons choice.
Yeah, that was really what it was.
What a choice to make.
That, you know what? That's actually the fair argument.
Well, it's good to see he's had the IGs out there, that he's back in the lab again, every year.
Every year.
I think your realistic best bet is a healthy Milwaukee with Giannis on a warpath because there is no way to stop him.
Yeah.
That's the only team in the East that could possibly, but they got cap problems themselves.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I think the Dame trade was the right decision. Until Drew Holiday was a Celtic. Then it becomes a lot tougher to justify. Because it's like you gave them a missing piece that they didn't have. Because the upgrade from Marcus Smart to Drew Holiday is severe. And also the fact that one of those people has a Defensive Player of the Year award and it's not Drew Holiday, it's a crime.
Well, no. But you want to know the biggest thing about that? Drew Holiday is cool being a secondary guy. Marcus Smart was
always thought he was the guy.
Yeah, was looking at it like, I'm right here with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. It's like, not yet.
You're also problem for him with them is they were always little bro. In his mind, you could tell he was always big bro.
Yeah.
Like, you all listen to me. I'll show you how to do this. I'll show you where we go. That's my shot to take.
Yeah.
Drew would never.
Yeah. He's a great teammate. Great
teammate and a far better player.
That's fair. So okay, but in the West, whether it's the Thunder, out of the Thunder,
line 'em up.
The Thunder, the Nuggets, or the T-Wolves, who do you think has the best chance to unseat the Celtics?
Well, of course I'm biased. But I mean,
taking all biases out,
if Denver can find a way to come back with that starting five intact and everyone healthy, I would choose Denver. Just because of the experience factor. That being said, I can't say the T-Wolves as long as Karl Anthony Towns is there.
Really?
Can't.
Wow.
Because there's always...
You don't think that they took a step this year?
Oh, they took a major step.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying I can't pick them to come out as long as he's heavily involved. Because there's going to be games and there's going to be moments where he's going to do Karl Anthony Towns things that are certainly not helpful to winning. So if you notice, to me personally at least, in a lot of their games when the playoffs when it was important, was Karl Anthony Towns on the floor or was Naz Reid on the floor?
Yeah.
I think they're not as good of a scoring team, but I think they're a better team with Naz Reid out there. Yeah. So if there's a Towns deal to be had, perhaps, I would sky's the limit for them. And let's not forget, the Oklahoma City Thunder added Alex Caruso as a 40+% three-point shooter and an all-defensive player.
Yes.
So congratulations to all of you all. When you go, oh, here's your switch. Oh, I had Lou Dort on me. Now I have Alex Caruso on me. Yeah. Cool. Shea is also a perfectly fine defender, and Chet back behind him to clean it up.
That's a lot.
I like it. I like it quite a bit. I'm not gonna lie.
No, that's when I saw that deal go through, I was and this is what we were texting, like to have Lou Dort and then also Caruso out there, and Caruso being again one of those good, just certain players in the league are champions at their role, and he knows who he is. He's got his money, you know what I mean? So it's not like he's out here trying to do too much to get paid. He's got his money, and he's still younger. It's a great deal in my opinion.
Can I tell you? So I saw somebody online. They graded the deal. They gave the Thunder an A, and the Bulls A minor.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I had to laugh, Josh.
It's pretty good.
I don't think you did anything wrong.
Just like Drake.
Granted, there is definitely some criminality, whether you knew or not, still illegal. Let's not let me act like I'm letting him off the hook that much. Even though you don't know, you can still get in trouble for it.
That's right.
So I'm not that dumb.
Ignorance is not 9/10 of the law.
No.
Again, especially when you're black.
Yeah.
Oh, you knew the rules. So
Jamal Giddey would not do so well.
No, you would not. Who takes a step next year? I'm gonna say I feel like the Grizzlies with a healthy Ja Morant, a refocused Ja Morant,
Hopefully,
and then also they have a pretty solid. Where are they picking in the draft?
they are into the lottery. They're around 10.
They're top 10.
Yeah.
So like
They're not 10.
Can add another solid piece, you know, to like, and I think they could get a really solid role player because you're not asking that lottery pick to do anything. Just be.
I think their best bet would be to get somebody with size.
Yeah.
Because you need Triple J insurance.
Yep.
And it showed when Steven Adams was hurt how much Steven Adams meant to that team.
Yeah.
So, and, you know, as long as Ja doesn't come out guns blazing, I think we'll be okay.
The way that I hate you. And then also the Spurs, I think the Spurs take a big step too because how many pick do the Spurs have? 3
They have 4 and 8.
Okay.
4 and 8. But a lot of it is who they get at that 4 and 8. Because number one, they need a point guard. Yeah. There is no question about it. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of this draft, you could get, now there are some people who aren't high on him. The kid Nikola Topic, Serbian. Mm-hmm. He's a big point guard. You know, some people have talked about Rob Dillingham from Kentucky.
Yeah.
I mean, I think their ideal fit would probably be like Reed Shepherd coming out of Kentucky because not so much to be a point guard, but that kid can shoot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's going to give you a point guard is a must for them. And just they don't waste the time. Time to start adding some veterans because they need other people who are more ready to win because Wembanyama is that level. He is special. Yeah. Like there's not years, especially being super tall. There's not years to waste.
No.
Who knows?
Well,
I give you 1 year to waste, maybe 2.
Yeah.
But after these 2 years, and from what he showed us already by the end of the season, mm-hmm. It's time to start adding veterans. I know everybody is trying to concoct ways to get Darius Garland there, which would be the absolute miracle of all miracles and would change that team
tomorrow
dramatically.
Yeah. I think no, to your point though, with Wemby, especially with the bigs, man, you got to watch their feet, you got to watch their joints, and so you have to. You can't look at it from a 10-year plan. You got to look at it from 5.
Yeah. And
try to get done what you can get done in these next 5 years.
Yeah,
and also because of Pop. Yeah, and because of Pop too. Pop's about Pop.
I think Pop only stayed there when they got the 1 pick. He would have retired by now.
I think so too, because he was getting worn out.
Yeah.
His hair was looking more and more disheveled every press conference. I was like, Lord, Popovich looking like
he's still Pop though. He's still out there at a high level. But it's I would love to see them capable of doing something.
Yeah.
You know, they could also use some more size to help back him up too. So can the Thunder. Like Thunder if the Thunder can use this pick to get them another player with size, buddy.
Yeah, well,
I actually wouldn't even mind if they package some of these many draft picks to move up in a bad draft and get somebody pretty big.
Get like a Zach Edey?
No, I don't want anything to do with Zach Edey, and no, absolutely not. Zach Edey will not work in the NBA.
You don't think so?
Run this back for me if I'm wrong.
You don't think so?
What's he going to do, post up? Who runs that offense now?
We should. God bless it. It's
I'm not
still
saying
a
what we
freaking
should
good
or shouldn't
offense.
do, Josh. I'm saying what we do.
I freaking hate the NBA. It's
There
just
is what
infuriating.
if you can explain to me the team where there's a place for him. I'd love to hear it.
No, there's actually
Where is it?
There's actually a couple, and I'm trying. I was like, oh,
What
that
team
actually-
isn't dusting him down the floor? Who are you putting him out there on against Oklahoma City?
He's in trouble. He's gonna need help. But we're filtering everything to the Sun. He's the Sun. Filtering it all back to him.
Cool.
We're playing 5-on-4. Don't come inside.
Listen, the only person who really runs like any post up significantly, I mean, there's two people. It's probably Jokic, of course,
yeah, Embiid
who
a
is
little
a
bit.
different level, and Alperen Şengün. But Alperen Şengün, as good of a player as he is, Rockets went on the winning streak when he got hurt.
Yeah.
Teams right now are not prepared to have a post-up player. The one that works the best is the best passing big man we've ever had in life. All due respect to Bill Walton.
Who else?
Listen, I can name a number of other ones, but let's not. You're talking about
Wilt-
outlet passes with
Wilt-
Wes Unseld?
Wilt-
Is that what we're doing?
You gonna
Not
see-
Scottie Pippen.
Not Scotty. No. Wilt Chamberlain led the league in assists.
Wilt Chamberlain is the first person to lead the league in assists selfishly.
Just because
He hurt his team to lead the league in assists.
out of spite. And
Yes.
then also come
We
on.
can't count that.
Come on, Arvydas Sabonis.
Arvydas Sabonis, of course.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying. I'm not saying he's not one of the best.
Give
Give it away. He took it. It's been taken. We didn't have to give him anything.
He's pretty good. He's pretty good.
Pretty good.
No. Listen, over the last 2 years, I've grown a love for Nikola Jokic. He's
amazing.
After that run last year, because I've said this on the show. I never really watched him, and last year I was forced to watch him. It was like he's dope. You know what I mean? And so then this year I really was able to enjoy him.
Look at the hell that he gives to Anthony Davis, who is a fantastic defensive player.
So much more physically gifted, everything you're not doing anything
It
except
just
for what I want.
gives that man hell.
That's fair. I know that you wanted to talk briefly about the coaching hires. We talked a little bit about the NBA draft, so we don't have to rehash that.
There's not enough.
It's not enough.
There's not enough to talk about in this draft. I'm gonna be honest with you. Nobody really knows. Nobody knows who's going number 1, 2, 3, 4. Nobody really knows. It's all a mystery.
Yeah.
And any one of these players could be decent. There's no stars in this draft.
Yeah. At least not presently constructed.
No. I mean, you got to hope that Risache turns out to be like some sort of physical freak. But there ain't no stars.
But we look the Giannis draft. We didn't think we were going to get Giannis out of that. So you
and
never
the
know.
rest of that draft was pretty trash.
True. That's
The best, and then once again, the best player came at 15.
yeah.
So
So you know what I mean?
who knows?
So
In
you
this draft, it could be like that.
Yeah, you never know. We might catch somebody, especially just because of the whole NBA turning over the next 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
Like so many players are going to be leaving that.
Well, not only are so
gonna
many
have to have
players
somebody.
leaving, but as the money goes up, they're going to be making some players leave while they're at it.
Get out. You don't deserve this. But we do have to talk about the coaching hires. It was Kenny Atkinson got hired by
Cleveland.
by the Cavs today. Shout out to him. That was an actual coaching hire, not what my freaking Wizards did. Lord Jesus.
For an actual coach. You're with. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the Wizards coach.
No, I don't wish to talk about it. Why do you want to give me pain before we get off the air?
Why are they bringing Troy Weaver around now in too?
I don't know.
What are they doing over there, Josh?
I don't know. We're so bad. It's just it's sad to look at and watch.
I mean, the sad thing is, at least you weren't the number 1 pick in this terrible year.
No, I would
I'd
love to
rather
be
be
number.
too.
I'd love to be number 1 next year, though.
Yeah, no.
Come on, Cooper Flag. Come on.
It's Cooper Flag time next year.
Come on.
And plus, there's a couple other guys that would go number 1 this year too.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, you got a few coming next year, but Cooper Flag is clearly
Yeah.
top of the list.
I hope he does well in college next year.
He's gonna do just fine.
And then, but then we have to, before we get out, we got to talk about JJ Redick. JJ Redick hired 4 years with the Lakers.
Yeah, it's still no word on money. It had to be a lot. He didn't take this job on the cheap because JJ has options. He doesn't have to be doing this.
JJ getting 40 million, 50 million. I promise.
Do you think?
Yeah.
There ain't no way JJ took this job for less than what they offered Hurley.
And he doesn't deserve that, Dave.
I know, I'm not saying. Listen, deserve, don't deserve. It's what you can get. It's what your leverage allows you. And also, for all this talk of, I don't have any say in any of these things. Wow, it's weird that this isn't exactly about that, but it's like, well, no, if it was so important for LeBron to play with Bronny, I'd make the Lakers pick him at 17. Actual quote.
That's terrible. If Bronny James goes to the Lakers, like, I literally want the Lakers to be
at 55.
I don't care if it's 155. If he goes to the Lakers, I really want the Lakers to be that bad for the next 20 years.
Well, listen, he's going to Lakers. The JJ hire is a LeBron. I don't care what anybody says. That is a LeBron hire. Now, it's going to be really interesting since they are clearly friends and they get along on some basketball things. JJ strikes me as the kind of person, like, he's big talked about Dan Hurley, like loving the stuff that he runs. Everybody he talks about great systems, great offenses, like the way that they do things. It's going to be very interesting to do that to a LeBron James team who has never wanted to run an offense in his life.
Nope.
And in fairness to him, clearly hasn't really had to. Do I think it would have made things better for him in certain seasons? Yes, I do. Can I prove that? Of course not.
No, you can. You can actually. Phil Jackson, the triangle offense. 12, what was it? 3, 6, 9, 11 rings. Then Steve Kerr, similar offense. Runs a triangle with some pop inspiration as well. Another 4 rings. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you look at
I always say, in like
the last 30 years.
Some coaches that have touched him, I think Ty Lue's a little overrated. I think he's a very good coach. Do I think he's the best coach in the league? I do not.
No, but he's top 5.
Probably.
Top 5.
He's up there.
And that's... Look,
I mean, personally, with Kenny Atkinson back in a job, I have Kenny Atkinson above him. I think Kenny Atkinson's a fantastic coach.
I'd have to see him in the situation.
Yeah. We don't know about him in Cleveland
Yeah,
yet.
I gotta see him in the situation.
If you really think about it in the league, I mean, Pop gets there by merit alone.
Yes.
Has to still be considered.
Yes.
Spoelstra is number 1. I don't think that's questionable.
Kerr
has 4 rings.
Kerr's up there.
4 rings and 6 finals appearances.
Yeah.
I don't care what the team is. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The resume speaks for itself.
Yep.
So that's when it starts getting more questionable on who's at the level, and you start getting to other questions. So, yeah, Ty Lue is probably right about 5th or 6th.
Yeah. Well, I gotta get us out of here. I gotta land this plane because I looked at the time and Nikki's gonna start strangling me soon. So thank you guys so much again for tuning in to another episode of the American Fan 365. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I do apologize again for being half retarded and half disheveled today, and for saying the R word, I guess.
Yeah.
We're better than that these days now, Dave.
I didn't say it.
I hate you so much, Dave.
I don't go out on every limb for you.
Dave is 7 toes down at best.
At best.
We'll see you guys next time.
Alex Caruso.